Hello everybody. So we're going to do a video on all the different ways to clean your beauty blenders and yeah, I gotta clean my beauty blenders and make a video. So two birds, one stone, am I right? Also, what was that? I just did like a, hey! Alright, let's get started. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna grab a cup of water or a mug, preferably, and your dirty beauty blender. You're going to add some dish soap to the mix, and I recommend using a natural dish soap. That way, if any residual dish soap is left in your beauty blender, it does not cause any breakouts. Okay, so what you see me doing here is fully submerging the beauty blender into the mixture. Make sure you mix the mixture beforehand to make sure that the dish soap is properly incorporated. Okay, now place your mug in the microwave and set the time for 1 minute. Well, it sure looks cleaner. So I am gonna say it's actually pretty hot. Ugh, ow. Fun. I don't want to squeeze that out. Okay. We're just gonna run some cold water on it. I'm going to run it in the microwave one more time and then see what that does. Forgot to mention, make sure you use clean water if you're gonna run it again. See, there's still product on the sponge and quite a lot of it, especially on the tip. To be fair, I have been using the sponge a long time without cleaning it, so I'll still give this one props for cleaning up the edges that I use probably every now and then, so not bad. An official beauty blender one, but I'm using one by Young Living that's more of a brush cleansing, whatever you want to call it, pad. And let me see if I can get some light on it. And it has a bunch of, I don't even know what you'd call it. I'm just going to call them little bits for now. But basically, it just helps grip any product, I believe, when water's running down it in soap. So we're just going to try that. This is a lavender soap, also by Young Living, just because it's fairly gentle on skin considering it is lavender, and it's a pump, so it should be pretty easy to put on the blender. Okay, so I just took about 3 pumps of lavender hand soap and I've just kind of blended it into the blender. I'm going to turn on the water and get it kind of warm, and then I'm going to start using the pad. Okay, so the water's finally warm. I'm just going to use these two things, sort of scrape the beauty blender on it while water's flowing down it. And yeah, we'll just see how that goes. This product, it had about the same result as the other one. Lots of products stuck on both ends that I used the most, and then on the sides, any leftover or residual product got washed away pretty well. Also, another thing I didn't really take into account is that the grooves on this are actually pretty big considering the size of even just the little sponge parts of the beauty blender. So since I wasn't using an actual official beauty blender one, it did start to tear a bit, so I would be cautious with this method. But it does have about the same effect as the other one, and it didn't take as long. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this beauty blender is give it a nice soak in some warm water. So this isn't a coffee pot, it's just something I got to help clean my brushes. It does kind of look like a coffee pot though. I'm just going to use the lavender soap again, maybe 5 pumps-ish. Let that soak for 15 minutes and then I'll be right back. It has been 15 minutes. It has been soaking in pretty warm water with about 6 pumps of lavender soap. I ended up doing 6 instead of 5. So I'm going to squeeze this thing out, run some cold water on it, and see what happens. Okay, so this is the finished product. Overall, I'd say it's pretty clean. The bottom got pretty clean and the top got really clean. And I'd like to point out just how much foundation and concealer and just stuff is on my pointer finger right now. That's how much just the soak in the warm water loosened up all of the just product buildup in there in the sponge. So I feel like if I were to do this a couple of times, which is probably needed considering I don't wash my blenders very often. I should, but I don't, so these things are probably crawling with bacteria. So that's fun. But considering I probably haven't washed these all in 6 months, it was a 15-minute soak. It did pretty good. This is probably the most effective and efficient one that I've used so far. Here is the lineup. This one was probably the most fun to do, I'll give it that, but out of all of them, it was probably the least effective. I have seen some videos on YouTube using like olive oil in it, but that can sometimes be interesting when you're trying to put stuff on your skin. So, not my favorite, probably the one I would use the least. Then this one had about the same results as this one, it's just I didn't use this blender as much. So I feel like these almost rank pretty close to each other, but I would still put this one up front, considering it took less materials sort of to make it work that way, I guess. But if you have anything that has a gradient to it, you should just be able to rub it on that and it should be fine. I actually don't know how to place these ones. I actually am going to put this one in front of this one because that method does leave some holes in the Beauty Blender. So yeah, this one's placing last, this one's placing second. This one's placing first for the sheer amount of product it got off in the first go. Like for this one, I had to run it twice, and then for this one, I did like spend 3 minutes on it or so, and it still ended up like that. So this one's definitely my favorite, probably still needs a run through. But yeah, I would recommend soaking your beauty blenders if you have the time and materials. Definitely the most worth it out of the 3 methods. Okay everyone, I hope you found the video useful or helpful or at least entertaining. I know it didn't have as much commentary as my videos usually do. That might change with the editing, I'm not sure. But I hope it was helpful a bit, maybe so, sort of. Anyways, it was a good way to make a video and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So, have a good one.